Hey there, welcome to the Ingles table. I'm Chef Bruce Brown, and today I'm going to show you how to make my delicious sweet potato corn chowder. I got all my ingredients at Ingles from the produce department and the canned goods section, so come on, let's get cooking. To start this recipe, I'd really want you to start doing your potatoes. Yeah, peeling a sweet potato is a pain, and I know that, so what I do is I take my whole sweet potatoes in the skins and I roast them in the oven at 350 degrees for like 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the size of the sweet potato. Take them out, let them cool down to the touch so you can pick them up. And by the time that they cool that much, you can usually peel the skin off with a paring knife and your fingers. It comes right off because they have shrunk on the inside. It's really a cool little trick with sweet potatoes, so you don't have to try to peel them before you dice them up. Then I dice them up and put them into a container, and they're all ready to go. About 2.5 pounds, 2 to 2.5 pounds worth to start. So now we're gonna start building our chowder. I have a couple tablespoons of butter in the bottom of my stock pot. Make sure you use a large enough stock pot. You don't want to be fighting and stirring and spilling stuff all over. In the bottom of the stock pot, I'm gonna start with about 1.5 to 2 cups of onions diced up. Cup of celery, diced up, 1/2 cup of red bell pepper that I seeded and put in, and 1/2 cup of poblano peppers. I don't use green bell peppers because green bell peppers in the process of making soup tend to lose some of their color and their vibrancy. I like poblano peppers because they keep their color, they keep even more flavor, and for the price that you pay for a pepper, I really like poblanos. I think they're worth it. We're gonna stir this all together. Just get these started. Makes it very colorful already. Let this just saute off till the onions start to soften, about 3 minutes. So you can see what it looks like to start. It's just all the colors all ready to go. Now, next, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of minced fresh garlic. I don't like using garlic powder. I don't like using the jarred stuff. Fresh garlic if you can, but you don't want to add it in too early because fresh garlic burns very easily. And if you burn the garlic at the bottom of the pot, you're going to have to start over. We're going to add in our herbs. I've got 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flake. Might have been a little more, but that's okay. It's going to add flavor. About 1 teaspoon of salt. I've got 1 teaspoon of black pepper. I've got some oregano. And then, as usual, my favorite, I brought a little too much, so dried thyme. And too much time on my hands. We're gonna put the rest in. Stir those around. Make sure it all gets coated. So this now, I have 3 cups of yellow whole kernel corn. You can use frozen, you can use fresh, use whatever you've got on hand. But the corn is what really gives it the taste, the flavor that is going to go quite a long ways. Get that all in there. And your reserved sweet potatoes. Like I said, about 2 to 2.5 pounds worth. If you really like sweet potatoes, you can do more. And you can make this with regular potatoes too. But you know what? When sweet potatoes are in season, you should use them a little more often. They're even better for you, and they have great flavor in a soup like this. Get these all stirred together. I'm going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Now, if you're gluten intolerant, use cornstarch instead of the all-purpose flour. But I like using the all-purpose flour. Just pour it in and do your best to get stirred around so that all of the ingredients are kind of coated in the flour. This is what's going to help thicken it. But if you want to use cornstarch instead of the flour, I would use at least a couple of tablespoons. Get it stirred through just like this. Stir it around. I've got between 4 cups and 8 cups of vegetable stock that I'm going to put in. And the good thing is the vegetable stock is going to make it thicken and make the broth the start of it. Now, if you don't have vegetable stock and you don't want to make vegetable stock just for this, you can use water. That's not a problem. But if you have vegetable stock, it's going to add just that much more flavor. Add it in, turn your heat up to high, and bring this up to a very low boil. It'll probably take about 5 minutes to bring it up to a boil. I added the vegetable stock to all the vegetables and sweet potatoes, and I brought it up to a low boil. Then I turned the heat down because you don't want it to boil consistently. So now we're going to add in 4 cups of heavy cream. And yes, I said heavy cream. There's reason why, because there's a lot of stock in here. So therefore, the heavy cream is going to just balance it out and thicken it that much more. Stir that through. And the reason why we lowered the temperature on the burner is that you don't want, once you add the dairy to it, you don't want to bring it back to a boil. You just want to keep it on low heat and let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Just get all the flavors all kind of melded together and working. This is a chowder that it's got loads of flavor, loads of color. You're going to be surprised at how good it looks, let alone how good it tastes. We'll go ahead and get some out here. Sweet potato corn chowder. Bruce's recipe. I think this is going to be a perfect recipe for you to use at home this winter when it's nice and cold outside. Thanks for cooking along with me as we prepared my sweet potato corn chowder. I love this recipe. People in my restaurant love this recipe. I hope you will too. Don't forget to check out the rest of our website where you can find hundreds more delicious recipe videos. And I'll see you there.